Thank you so much for joining us on this live broadcast. This is The Insight, of course, at GBS TV Africa. The Insight is a political show where we bring to you, of course, and make you understand deeply as you delve into political issues. Well, tonight we speak about the Mashujaa. And of course, a lot is in line for you as we get to delve into issues, politics, and even things that happened during Mashujaa. And of course, we also get to look at the stock during the 30 days plus of Ruto's government. It is over 1 month since the 5th President William Ruto ascended to presidency. 20th of October 2022 was his very first national day as the head of state. In his address, the president spoke about the rule of law, agriculture, health, and climate change. In a conversation we are having tonight, we look at Ruto's hates and misses, political undertones during Mashujaa Day, but also look into his government in the last 1 month he has been at the helm as president. Miguna, the son of Miguna, is back in the country. What could the man who swore in Raila Amolo Odinga as the people's president be up to? Does his return has got a significance in the political terrain of Kenya, and more particularly to the Luo politics? Well, tonight on The Insight, we continue to delve in these issues. And of course, we have two guests tonight. And my first guest is Samuel Getembe. And Samuel Getembe is a political and economy analyst who is joining me on the show tonight. Thank you so much, Mr. Getembe. We also have Mr. Wesonga Mangeni. Songa Mangeni is joining us also. He's a political commentator, political analyst. And gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on The Insight tonight as we delve into this high voltage discourse. Well, it is 2022, and of course the first national holiday, national day for the President Ruto, William Ruto. First of all, before we delve into that, it was Mashujaa Day. Mr. Getembe, who do you celebrate during this Mashujaa?
Thank you very much once again. I'm so much humbled to be part of The Insight today. I want to take this opportunity to greet all the Kenyans and the crews aboard. And I wish them happy Mashujaa Day, which has already passed. And today, I am celebrating myself and my family for being the Shujaa.
Okay. Let me go to you, Mr. Mangeni.
Well, good evening, Kenyans. And thank you, Eugene. It's been long, a little bit long, eh?
It's so long.
So on Mashujaa, I'll take the cue from my brother. I'll first celebrate myself. I think this is very important that we celebrate ourselves and our contributions to what we're doing. I recognize also the community health volunteers from Madare constituency. These are my Mashujaas because I've visited with them several families. And they go to very many houses and offer help and support to many families that cannot access affordable health care.
Okay.
And so, community health volunteers in Madare, Kongole.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. I want us to delve into this issue very quickly. Well, Mr. Mangeni, I'll start with you on this issue. Well, we have the President Ruto, who is promises to respect the rule of law. And this is in his address, actually. He promises to respect the rule of law, to improve agriculture, expand healthcare, and tackle climate change as he presides over his first National Day celebration. But again, there are very critical issues that actually he never touched on. And that is number one of them being on debt crisis, national healing, gender inclusiveness, immediate measures to lower cost of living, which Kenyans believe that these are also very pertinent and very critical issues which they expected him to have talked about. What do you think generally? What are the hits and misses generally of the president's speech, looking at it as a political analyst?
Well, you know, now President Ruto is no longer campaigning to be president. He's now president. And he's now facing Kenya with the reality of what is on the table. From where I sit, I see that he has recognized that the economy of the world is not in that good state, you know. And it seems, this is my view, it seems the world is going into a very serious recession. And therefore, President Ruto is keen. Because if you start addressing economic issues of today to fulfill the needs of today, in a recession, you will lose. You will lose. So he's aware of this, and therefore he's very careful. He's intentionally avoiding the debate of food, high cost of food, because what he wants is, let there be supply of food. Then it can use the logic of supply and demand to address this cost. So he's very careful that the economy can crash if he dares try to intervene in this moment using unscientific methods to handle. Because when you use populist methods like subsidies, they are bound to affect you in the near term and long term. So he is being affected by actually the subsidies that Uhuru government did. But so he's very careful. He's avoiding this topic. And what he's simply telling Kenyans is that we are making a Kenya for tomorrow. We are not here today, and we are not here that Kenya is getting finished today. So he's trying very much to make sure that we focus on tomorrow and explain to us that issue. Of course, we all really are expecting him to address food crisis, and he has to put every brain he can is at his disposal that he can use to address this issue, and Kenyans are really waiting for that. But I think we were not like, it's not like Kenyans were very much expectant in the Mashujaa day. I was not looking for something heavy. I understand the guy does not have any cabinet yet. I mean, I cannot sit there and start waiting for him to give something. But I'm looking forward to his 100. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Mr. Mangeni, you say that the president was avoiding a debate on the issue of food crisis and, of course, basic commodities. That is actually what people are talking about. That is actually what is out there, what the hoi polloi wants to hear from the president. Because actually it's about the basic commodities, housing. We talk about housing, we talk about the food. And that is actually the debate that is there from the hoi polloi. And that is what you say that the president is avoiding. Now, is the president avoiding a very critical work, the reason why he was elected? Because the president was elected under the ticket of the bottom-up economic model, which was to ensure that they were going to resuscitate the economy, and of course, in a ripple effect, there was going to be enough food.
Yeah, and that's why I'm telling you, he's not really like avoiding the topic. Look, for example, he goes at the housing program, and he's already talking about how many house units they are going to do. And he's actually launching housing units. He's even launching housing units already done in the past. You see, he's trying to make people see that this is what we are talking about anyway, yeah? And if you see behind the scenes, we hear some movements happening, like landlords being registered. So basically, he's doing a lot, only that he's careful not to make the country focus on how he can quick fix the issues, especially on this food issue, because the whole country and even the opposition side, they're pushing him to go towards subsidy. But that's the debate he's avoiding. Okay. And he's very clear, and in fact he says, let us talk about production, but not subsidy anymore, because to him, he knows that it has cost a very big hole in the budget, and he has no room again, so he cannot dare entertain such a debate because it will crash him. It will crash his economy.
Mr. Gitembe, I want to pose the same question to you. Well, in the president's speech, actually, he spoke about several issues, of course, which he swore actually that his government will continue improving on. And he spoke about agriculture, expand healthcare, tackle climate change, and of course, he was giving a plan on how he was going to do that. The food that he's talking about, which is very critical also and very pertinent, he never told us how, of course, the measures that he was going to use to lower the cost of living, which many Kenyans expected. Because at this point, Kenyans are crying because of high cost of living, amongst many other issues which was expected of him, and national healing, and of course gender inclusiveness. What are the misses and hits in President Ruto's speech, the first one in a national holiday?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. Allow me to point out that this is the first Mashujaa Day when the Deputy President, last time was denied an opportunity to speak as a Deputy President. Now he's addressing to us as a sitting President of the Republic of Kenya, which is a good sign. And allow me to rate the President of Kenya, His Excellency William Ruto, Dr. William Ruto. If I rate him in the scale of 1 to 10, his speech was 7 out of 10. Trust me, as he said, my colleague has said, the president is not campaigning anymore. He's not outside here to give us what we want to hear. He's there to implement the plan. So the key thing that people need to understand is that he's now trying to focus on the priority. Remember, last time when the kind of a situation like this was Mashujaa Day like now, the president was busy implementing the subsidies. He telling people the price of unga is going to go down. But talk about the subsidy. You can see how much it has cost the country. So the key thing, however much, he didn't state that the price of food is going to go down, but the implementation and the policies was trying to put aside, because look about saying about construction of 100 dams. What does it mean? The 100 dams are going to do irrigation, which is going to bring us food. He's talking about millions of acres of land being irrigated. What does it mean? So this means is focusing on industry of food production, and which is the key thing. So as much as possible, we're trying to say that he was avoiding the discussion of lowering the price of food. But if he goes to that direction, we are getting still back on subsidies, which the government is trying to avoid and focus much in production. Yes.
So generally, you've talked about the hit. Now, I believe that you rating the president 7 over 10 means that there was some inefficiency, some 3. So what are these inefficiencies in the president's speech generally?
You see, Eugene, the key thing, as we say, the common basic needs of a person, of every Kenyan, is food, shelter, and clothing. The president was mentioning about issues of how he can mitigate the issues of drought, the issues of food industry, by constructions of dams and having irrigation and so on. And then he was mentioning about collaboration of the county government and the national government in building of houses. Last week, a few weeks ago, we launched a project in Langata, which is building up stalls there. People are going to stay there at affordable rate. And there's something that I saw that if it's going to come in, then it's going to become good. It's saying about people owning houses up to 5,000. So within 5,000, you can start how do you call it? Is it called mortgage. So this mortgage is going to give people, it's going to reduce that. But you see, what he's trying to see is the president is not solving an instant solution, but is giving a long-term solution, because the guy is supposed to be rated. And there's something I saw very keenly, he's saying about in 2032. Do you see something like that? So this means he's there in 2027 and in 2032. Very keen. Because me can analyze the situation, I can analyze the speech and say the president, he was not mentioning about 2032 like he is not knowing that he's going to be there. So he knows after 2027, he's going to pick another up to 2032. So that is why trying to put a long-term effect to the economy, which can be able to bring him. So the misses which you are saying about what was the misses and there is what we're saying, he missed to solve the instant problem that we're facing. The cost of high living, the cost of food, and the others are like fuel and so on, which are being affected by the current.
I have a certain view on this Mashujaa Day thing. You know, I don't know when we will have to start, and I wish we can change, because these are just this should be a celebration of the remembrance of the past and heroes of today also. But many times we are very apolitical so much that we want every time to hear the government record. I don't think these are the platforms where governments should be telling us what they are doing and what they want to do. I think State of the Nation address are the places we should do. And Kenyans, we should not always I mean, I wish this Mashujaa Day, even I see even in counties, I see governors giving their speech every day. What is happening? Let us celebrate the heroes. Organize a heroes celebration, a luncheon, and it's over. If we need a national parade for the military, let it be done. But let us not spend time trying after Mashujaa Day, we'll have a Madaraka. Again, we want him to explain the same things. As if there's a miracle happening, as if we are leaving Kenya and going somewhere. So we want to finish faster, and let us eat the cheap food now and go. No, we are not. So I have a feeling that we are really misinterpreting these holidays. These holidays are not supposed to be when William Ruto will be telling us what the government will do. These are holidays for William Ruto to lead the country into celebrating the heroes of the past and the heroes of today and encourage heroes of tomorrow. So, however, we are so used into what does he offer, what does he not offer. But I think this is a wrong trajectory. And I see everywhere, 47 counties. Do you know, in all counties, the speech was being read. Imagine the speech which lasted more than an hour. In every county was being read. And governors again appeared with their own speech, which was also more than 30 minutes. What is happening? Let us use State of the Nation address to speak policies and then give time for the policies to be done. Then appear in another State of the Nation address and address what you have achieved from the last address and explain the next. But every holiday, if we have to state how many dams you have to create, every holiday, by Madaraka there will be no dam. You know that. So again, 100 dams. Again we ask, okay, good dams. Then again,
and Gatembe has something to add on it.
I wish actually my colleague has stated very much clearly. I wish this message could have gone to the president and deputy president of Kenya. We need to change things. We're already in 2023, 24. You see, we have been singing these songs in the last years, where during these days like Mashujaa Day, that the president has to come and tell us what the government is doing. We have a lot of heroes who are being uncelebrated. How many heroes have they died for this country? We have people fighting for the human rights. We have human trafficking that is ongoing. We have people who have been going to corridors of justice, fighting for the rights. How many people in the youths who have been fighting for people? We have a lot of employees outside there who call them Mashujaa. They have stood with employees for all this time. We need to recognize them. The government should actually say this, like we should go there and celebrate. Kenyans should go there, drink milk, celebrate their own heroes. We celebrate our own parents.
You're talking about drink milk and also talking about luncheon.
It's not like we are
we're not interested about food.
And I'm here wondering if Kenyans are already crying about high cost of living.
So
where are they going to get this
food? There's money. But that money they are spending in people marching here up and down is money that can be used to throw a bash here and there, you know. In the past, sometimes during Moi's time, we used to be called in maybe Kasarani
and drink milk.
And then Coca-Cola used to call people and take free Coca-Cola that day, you know.
And the bread.
And bread. So what I think, what I'm saying is, if the president can try and focus on Mashujaa to be the agenda of Mashujaa is Mashujaa. Because you are saying the theme was my country, my responsibility. I am my own hero. I am a hero of this country. The idea is let us celebrate what people are doing. Let us bring those people. Let us talk about them. Let us talk about their deeds. You know, let us continue, let us talk about planting more trees. Let us encourage farmers. Let us go and show how a farmer is doing farming. Let us not focus on the elitist approach towards this celebration.
Let me just ask you this, Mangeni. The president, of course, as you guys had said earlier, and he reiterated on the same point that the president is no longer campaigning, but actually is now working in office. But yet, some people find it so full when the president continues to refer to other people who do not support them and the government as our competitors. Isn't this is not a political statement from where I sit?
No, I think.
In most of his speeches,
but I don't think I was not in the Mashujaa, but in the recent past, I think he has been talking about his competitors. And I think these events are related to activities of what the so-called competitors were doing. You saw that the Right Honorable Prime Minister went back to the grassroots. He started moving around Nairobi in the grassroots debates, Bunge la Wananchi. And those activities, let me tell you, they had a purpose. The Prime Minister is not someone who does something without a plan. So they had a political purpose. The Prime Minister is having a political plan that is trying to implement. And therefore the President had to come out again and confirm politically that, my friend, I'm around. I'm around. And if you want us to start going this line, you will be again my competitor. Okay. And I think if I advise the Right Honorable Raila, will be to try and avoid that place that he's leading. Because every time William Ruto will use him again. If he fails to deliver, he'll use him. He'll say, this guy from the first month
started disturbing us.
So now, he has to be careful. If just give him even 3 years, then appear in the fourth year and start. But if you start on the first month, you will see already our competitors have destroyed this economy.
Okay.
So they should give us a break. Even Gachagua went ahead to say we need 5 years because you guys destroyed this economy for 5 years. Now we need 5 years
to recover.
To resuscitate the economy.
Yes, so he needs to be careful. So I think basically what the president was doing was coming politically again to counter what the Right Honorable Raila was trying to do politically.
Okay. And Mr. Getembe, actually in also the president's speech, he spoke about the rule of law, where he trained his guns on killer cops and promised action against rogue police officers. Is this a call to reform the police or the criminal justice system from where you sit? Is it actually something that we can say is genuine, or do you think, as some of the political analysts put it, that it was just to vindicate themselves because they used to cry that the criminal justice system has always been used against them? Do you think that there is any political undertones in this at all, objectively?
Let me start by saying that you remember before few months to the election, the deputy president, now at that time the deputy president, who was there, William Ruto, now the sitting president, is something that he mentioned clearly, that that time the IG, Hidden Mtiambai, was incompetent. We had him go public. It is live, it's on record. He said that he was incompetent. Then he went ahead to accuse the DCI of being used to intimidate them. So, and he promised once he takes over, he's going to see the reforms and changes. What happened? The first few weeks is in office. The IG was sick, few minutes, resigning. The other boss of DCI is also resigning. So this is trying to say that, yes, we understand it's politics, yes, but it's also trying to come with this reform. As he said, the key thing is one, every regime has its own. He has mentioned about having a track record. So he's trying to come up and tell people, these other people failed in this regime. So I'm bringing a new team which is able to help me to achieve the manifesto that he put it to the people. I remember there's something that he said, the criminal injustice in Kenya. There's some directive, I think he has sent it to the DCI to disband some special unit that was being used to do judicial killing. We used to understand that in Kenya, yes, I know not even in Kenya, even in other countries. So you understand that some people go missing. And you try to find out where they go, they're already gone with some special units from the police. I don't want to authenticate the exact which department it is, but it is all over and it's understood. Even the president himself said, we understand there are some units which has been used by the DCI to kill people and being thrown in Rivayara, especially mentioning about Rivayara. So what does it mean? He's trying to bring a reform. Because there was a time actually we could hear on newspapers, 15 bodies are recovered in that forest, 15 bodies are recovered in this. So you understand when was it done and how it's done. So we need to give him time, at least for 5 years. Let's try and see, is this judicial killing, the reforms that he has brought, is it making sense? So he has promised to do the DCI, not to intimidate people. So we need to see in the next 5 years. And I was watching the new interview of the the new CS nominee, Kithure Kindiki, who is taking the position of the interior. He said the people should not mistake him of his humbleness of not be able to perform. He said he's going to deal with anybody that is not going to follow the rule of law. So this means that he has promised to support his boss, who is Dr. William Samoei Ruto. So let's give them time with their reforms they have come into it and see how best they can be able to deliver in that sector.
Okay. And, I'm going to give you actually time to speak, kindly, but I'm being directed that we need to go for a short break. Thank you so much. We're going for a short break, and of course, we'll be right back. Kindly stay with the broadcast. No, thank you so much for staying with this live broadcast. This is the inside, of course. 2114 is our SMS line at GBS TV Africa 20 and I'm still with my guest here, Wasonga Mangeni, a political analyst. Of course, we also have politics and economy analyst. Mr. Samuel Getembe is also here with us. And we're still trying to delve into delve into these issues. And the question that actually we were looking at is about the extrajudicial killings. Mr. Getembe touched on it, and of course, maybe you can also give us your 2 cents on it. What do you think about it? Do you think that even the government will actually be able to reform the judicial, the criminal justice system? Is it possible? Is it something that they can actually do away with the extrajudicial killings? Because as we have heard and seen in other regimes, where one regime enters to power and does away with a certain system and puts its own system. What do you think? Is this the same case?
No, first, I say this passionately. If there's any reason that will make me not support His Excellency William Ruto will be if he will let down his commitment towards respect to human rights. This topic of extrajudicial killings, Kwach and Kenyans all over, we have seen it. We have lost young people, like as if we are a banana republic, as if Kenya does not have any rule of law, as if some lives are greater than other lives, as if some people own the right to lives of others. Let me tell you, it has become like it is a crime to be a poor person or to be a thief when you are a poor guy. And I'm saying this because I come from Mathare, and in Mathare, I can tell you in my lifetime, up to now, I'm now 35, I have witnessed more than 15 killings by the police. More than 15 killings by the police. And as I'm speaking, there are a number, around 5 people close, neighbors that we know, that we have seen growing together, that have disappeared in the thin air and up to date, nowhere to be found. This is not a country. If a country runs where there are laws, we deal with people according to laws. Look, the other day, you have some member of parliament elected who have shown in broad daylight and cameras shooting. They've been taken to court. They've not been shot dead. You come to Mathare, you are shot dead. It's clear, and a policeman comes in camera, justifies shooting a young person in front of TV, in front of thousands of people in Isli, shooting that young man with hundreds of bullets, and justifies that, you see, why I do this is because when we take them to court, they will be released. Why have they not shot dead those police, the honorable members who have shot someone? Why is it that when they come to young people in Mathare, in Kayole, in Dandora, they prefer let us kill them as if they are solving anything? This killing has been done since 90s, since 80s. Has it solved it? Never. It has not. It has not. So human rights is not negotiable. The right to life is not negotiable, and I'm very happy and very supportive. I'm looking forward for the judicial inquiry that I will also be going there. I'll be leading many other young men there and women to discuss this agenda. And this is the only place where, in case His Excellency William Ruto does not stick to his commitment, this is where we will part ways.
Okay. Mr. Getembe, I want us to look into some other political undertones during the Mashujaa Day as well. And of course, first of all, is the few attendancy during the Mashujaa Day celebrations. We have witnessed in other celebrations where we have seen huge numbers, and even during the, of course, the inauguration of the President, William Samoei Ruto, there was quite a huge number compared to what we were seeing during Mashujaa. What do you think are the political undertones for this?
Coach, let me start by saying, yes, we have seen it trending online, to be honest, that there were very few match attendants in Uhuru Gardens. But you see, there's also something that you need to understand.
Yes.
Basically, as we speak, Kenyans are hungry. Kenyans don't have money in their pocket. You cannot tell somebody who is in Mathare to use his own fare from Mathare to go to Uhuru Gardens to listen to the president when they have nothing to eat. The cost of fuel is very high. The cost of food is very high. So you see, there's something, and also public awareness. Let me actually make them points for every Kenyan that is watching to make it understand clearly. Number one, Kenyans are tired, to be honest. They are tired. They have no food to eat. They have no clothes to wear. They have no good place of sleeping, majority. That is one thing that is affecting people not to go to these celebrations. Like, they know it's normal. You know, oh, today is an holiday, it's Madaraka, so what? The same price of unga that was 300 shillings is still on 300 shillings. So it doesn't entice them to have a way of going there to celebrate. Like another thing we said, people don't know even what is Mashujaa Day. They don't know. They don't know. They are knowing that the president is going there, people to march, people to read their speech, then they go home. But if Kenyans could be educated and be told the day of Mashujaa Day is the time we remember our heroes. Like we had mentioned the kind of heroes we need to recognize. The head teachers in schools, our assistant chiefs who have been used before by the other regime to cut away like the presidents of this and so on. Those are the kind of the heroes we need to celebrate. So at the end of the day, so people are not being taught on the importance of Mashujaa Day. There's that sensitization. You remember in the village, when there's a holiday like that, the chiefs go to the villages, right? What about in Nairobi? Is this the capital city? Do you have chiefs going to Mathare to tell people come out? Do you have chiefs going to Kilimani, Kirereshwa, and telling the people to come out? So that kind of a thing, it is losing sense. Number three is when people into digital. People, others opt to use the newspaper, others opt to use the TV, others use the radio to catch up with the news that is ongoing instead of them going to the field. And later, maybe the other times back, you understand, the government uses many ways of bringing people to the field. They pay people to go there. They hire buses to transport people and go there. Number three, another point is that some use that crowds for political and reach. So once they have a lot of crowd, a lot of people listening to them, so they tend to say they have a lot of numbers listening to them. So those are some of the factors that made the low turnout. Actually, it was my first time to see, but I think it's not the first time. There's even sometimes back, it's already witnessed that where people skip very important national day issues when people need to discuss the national issues.
Okay, okay. So you look at this and maybe the attendance generally at Mashujaa Day. Do you think that maybe there's a very serious political undertone to it?
No, I think it's because some of us Kenyans are still with the political hangover.
And so we want to read everything in a political thing. I mean, if it will be his last campaign year for William Ruto, Bwana, Uhuru Garden will be full up to somewhere.
6 in the morning.
These politics we know. We know how they do about numbers. But if you just say come, who will come? No one. And look where Uhuru Garden is. But Uhuru Garden's majority of people who are excited with these events, with these political activities, are we the Hoipolois who are in the east of Nairobi. So now you start taking events that we are the majority who attend, you take them to the west there, in the northwest of Nairobi. Who will come? Those guys will not. The only people targeted there were the Kibera people. They're the only ones who can now come. And now you know very well Kibera people will not now go there. So it is, I understand it. It does not mean like politically that William Ruto's government is not receiving any support from Kenyans. But largely, it means somehow, one, the choice of venue. But I can tell you, if it is his last year of 2027, it will be full to the brim. Because he knows what to do politically. Kenyans are not excited to attend political events without enticement. Because we lost the civic, and it used to happen up to Moi's time. At the end of Moi's time, after that, we lost meaning to those activities. Even in Kibaki's time, my friend, it was the lowest. It reached a time when Kibaki had to start a campaign called Najivunia Kuwa Mkenya. Because people were not they cared less about those events. So sometimes it is actually that aspect of that we lost the civic education that we used to have in school before. That topic was removed, and now children are not taught that. But also, as you say, man, we are a hungry country. So why will we go to see soldiers marching? It's a high time. That's why I said, let us understand why we are having Mashujaa Day. And let us do what Mashujaa Day means. It means let us enjoy something. Enjoy it. And if you cannot enjoy, or put a bash, put for us people from the east, bring a reggae artist here in Kasarani, and we dance there. Or bring, pay Prince Inda and the rest guys. They come and do us a show here in Kasarani. You will feel it for that day. And we will say, oh, you are our Mashujaa, my friend. But speech after speech every day. We just had, the other day, what was the name? Just a few days, 10 days ago. Tukawa na ingine, and all of us didn't know what it was. Matiangi said utamaduni, and some of us said it is a service day. So ilipita because none of us knew what was happening. Okay. Now again 10 days later, Mashujaa.
Yes, Mr.
Again sometimes later again tutakuwa na zingine. What my request is, please, these holidays, let us just enjoy them.
Mr. Getembe.
Let me put something pointer that is coming to my head. There is something that is really required among the Kenyans, especially when you come to the national holidays. It's a time to have a national discussion. And I wish, I don't know if the government fears criticism from people or not. I wish a time where the president could stand among the people attending. Then the president can say who has something to say. Just run from the people. No. There's something I'm trying to mean is, you see, there's that getting views from the point of the people. You get my point? Because people know either they go, they don't go, they're losing, they're not winning or losing anything. Like, they're just there. We either go, we don't go, they still is the same. So why should I waste my sleeping time from home to go to Uhuru Gardens? I'm not even given something to drink or anything. Then at the end of the day, I'll see people marching. Then I see the president coming in. I'll see people read very big speeches in very big stomachs. They go to the good cars and they go home. At the end of the day, then they go back to the Eastlands. So there's something that is really missing up, as you were saying. And I wish that discussion will start again. People should be able to know that these are celebrations for their own people. It is for them. This day is set aside for them. And they should be educated. We have the national televisions, we have the TVs, we have the radios and social media. We have the content creators in Kenya. Let them be told on how they can talk to Kenyans. They own the national holidays. And once it comes to them, they can be able to know that it is this 20th day, it is Utamaduni Day. We need to have people creating contents on Utamaduni. So once people create contents, that they're owning these people. So we enjoy them, as he was saying, we throw a bash. We enjoy them as we also enjoy the contents as we celebrate the
From
Utamaduni
every
Day.
county. And you know, they say that the chief guest of this event is the president, surely.
Yes.
What is happening? We need to get out of this.
We have a lot of heroes.
But the chief guest, when you make now the president the chief guest, he comes, he's the one to give the speech, and when he finishes, it is over. No, it should not be that way. This is a full day. Let us celebrate in our houses. Let us eat something, find a way of making us feel like we are Kenyans, and we should celebrate something that day. Not through written speeches, through public events that inspire happiness and heroism. And if it comes to Madaraka Day, let us feel the independence.
Yeah.
You know, and this should not be speech after speech after speeches should be done on State of the Nation address, not on these holidays. Okay. Holidays are not meant for the president to explain his agenda. This is a culture we have begun that is wrong. Let us try to change things. I really plead with the Kenya Kwanza government. Let's try to change things. Let's not be afraid. Change this. Okay. But by the way, I followed it. I'm his supporter. I didn't go to the gardens. I followed it on TV. So while you will count the seats that were empty, but you also need to tell us how many seats were filled in the TVs and in the social media.
Okay.
Yes.
So Kalonzo Musyoka actually also attended
a good guy.
the Mashujaa Day celebrations. And he attended these alongside other, of course, Kenya Kwanza leaders, not other, because he's not part of them. And this actually caused social media uproar, because actually they never expected him, being part of Azimio, to be part of the team that was to go celebrate Mashujaa Day at Uhuru Gardens. I don't know if this has got any political significance according to you, or what do you make of this?
Let me start by saying this. Either it was to go there or not to go there, Kenyans will still talk. Kenyans will still talk.
Okay.
Number two, the former Vice President, Kalonzo Musyoka, making appearance with the national, you see, this is that is the day for Kenyans. He is also a Kenyan. He is also expected to attend. Even Raila, I'm not sure that he's going to skip all these meetings. He's going to come back and he'll be coming to attend all these meetings. You see, the key thing again is also trying to be relevant. You see, as much as possible, he's not might be agreeing. There's even, I've seen a Twitter from Martha Karua saying, I still don't believe that the President, William Samoei Ruto, won. He's still in the life of denial. But what about at the end of the day? They still want to remain relevant in the politics of the day. So this means at some point, all of them will be coming back. You see the time they were rejecting when the Uhuru government. They still rejected to go to those meetings. But what about the end of the day? They were still coming. So at the end of the day, he's coming to make his political relevance to be in order, people to know that he's still existing. You see, he cannot be hiding in Makueni or in Karen and he's standing today, tomorrow, he wants to become the president of Kenya. So he still wants to be relevant. He wants to be recognized that he is among the people that were supporting the cultures and the events of the national holidays of Kenya, like a person bringing the contributions to the economy and the politics life of the day.
Wow, it is hard to be Kalonzo Musyoka. You support Raila Odinga.
You are not branded. You do something that is perceived not pro Raila Odinga. You become a fruit.
Talk of the day.
A watermelon. It is hard to be Kalonzo Musyoka. Surely, right now, Kalonzo, he promised us, and I'll tell you, by the way, Kalonzo, watch him. Kalonzo told us that this time round, he will begin campaign immediately. William Ruto carries the Bible.
Yeah.
He will also begin. He said he has learned a lesson. No one is going to tell him again to wait to start campaigning on the last 6 months. So Kalonzo began. But you need to know why Kalonzo has behaved how he has behaved. My thinking, my own thinking. Kalonzo, just the way the President Ruto started calling competitors, referring to competitors, is the same response Kalonzo is giving Raila Odinga. Kalonzo and Raila Odinga are not on the same boat. That I am sure. And I can bet on it. They are not on the same boat. They are all charting different paths. And that is because Kalonzo is coming out of the waters because Raila Odinga is planning something that Kalonzo is not part of it.
Sure.
And as usual, Kalonzo will have to join at the last minute. But now Kalonzo is very much aware. They say, this this African proverb, but when you see a frog jumping in daytime, there's something unusual. So Kalonzo, you see him jumping in Kenya Kwanza while giving speeches against Kenya Kwanza government, but still appearing. Kalonzo is doing something. He's planning something. And this time round, respect Kalonzo Musyoka.
Okay.
This time round, yes.
I think let's give it a watch. But most people actually believe that that is 2022 will have been Raila's last stab. Do you think that there's any chance of...
Oh, my friend.
But anyway, we'll talk about
My
that.
friend.
If it is the most difficult person to leave power, let me be honest with you. If there is the most difficult person to leave about power, is Raila Odinga.
No, simple. Raila is here.
Okay.
To stay.
Okay. I want us to talk about something different, but of course we're short of time. Let's go for a short break and then come back. To the Bwanda before is our SMS line at GBS TV Africa at Eugene Ochiengkwach. Thank you so much for joining this live broadcast again. Of course, this is the Insight. We continue to delve into the Mashujaa topic. And of course, sorry for that. Still with my guest tonight, of course, I have Samuel Getembe and Wesonga Mangeni. And thank you so much, guys. But there's another issue I want us to delve into quickly before our time elapses, and that is about Miguna. Miguna is back, and of course, Miguna is a man that is quite a controversial lawyer, I can say.
Quite.
Yeah.
Controversial.
Yeah. And the man who actually swore in Raila Amolo Odinga as the people's president. And this man has jetted back into the country after 4 years of, can I say, exile. And of course, it was quite a dramatic episode. All in all, what do you make of Miguna's return to Kenya, generally? What does it mean? What does it portend in the political terrain, or the political architecture of Kenya, even in the Luo community, generally? If you look at the return of Miguna, does it change anything? Does it got any significance?
Well, I think the return of Miguna, first, where I see there's a significance is in the issue of the rule of law. That is where I feel the significance. I feel like the return of Miguna is a big win on those who believe in the rule of law, on human rights actors, and the idea that Kenya is a respecter of human rights. Politically, it may not have a lot of impact. However, I think he will keep busy the Right Honorable Prime Minister in these next 5 days.
Okay.
I think the strategy from Kenya Kwanza is that Miguna will be the person to keep Raila busy.
To keep Raila checked.
To keep Raila busy. Just busy, not check. Just busy. Whereby he'll come up with newspaper articles, he'll be coming up with TV shows, he'll be going to some controversial meetings.
Destroy Raila.
He will be facing some oppositions. Basically, the Luo politics will occupy Raila so much in these 5 years that William Ruto will
be busy.
Will enjoy seeing Raila facing local fights.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir Getembe, you look at the man who jetted back yesterday, the lawyer, vows, of course, he vows to take legal action against those who disobeyed the many court orders that, of course, it was to come back, that were presented so that it could come back. My question is, who will he be suing? Will he be suing the office of, maybe, let's take an instance of Matiang'i. Will he be suing the office of Matiang'i or the person of Matiang'i?
Thank you very much. I want to say thank you very much to my friend, Miguna. I have had the opportunity to say hi to him for some time back, and I had some discussion with him. He is a sober guy. You can say he's a very adequate and sharp mind among the lawyers that we have in Kenya, and a person who believes in himself. Actually, Miguna believes himself from the start of point. He believes himself. And the good thing with him, he knows whatever he does is right, according to him. Now, there is something that is coming up with the Miguna coming back to Kenya. You see, he has been out of exile for a longer time, which he has continued to fight the government of the day. I saw a tweet from Martha Karua, that was a running mate of Raila Odinga, saying that the former deputy president, now the current sitting president, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, should not pretend that he's now bringing Miguna back to Kenya. And he was part of the team that sent him away. But the key thing, Miguna is coming back. Yes, he's already back to the country. And we saw him yesterday arriving at the airport, and he went straight to Majamuhuri celebrations and the State House for celebrations. There's something that people are trying now to enjoy back. The one which Rigiji has been saying, freedom is now here with us. So he wants the Kenyans to see that really even other Kenyan people can access justice. And actually, even it was going to Twitter and saying that for the first time, the deputy president, the first time, the current regime, that is of His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, they promised to uphold the rule of law. And anybody who has been victimized by the judiciary or any government of the day, the former one, which tried to invade the people's privacies, the people's arrestments, getting people arrested on another time. So Miguna is one of the examples. And actually is going to read for the few days that is coming, that is among the few people, the freedom fighters who have witnessed the new regime meeting is what they had promised. Because I remember before election, they had promised once the president wins, then Miguna was back to the country. He's already back to the country. So we are waiting to see which direction it takes. I know he was saying yesterday he's going to announce his movements in the next few days. As he was saying, he might be trying to work on something. But to be honest, we expect a lot of shows from him. We expect a lot of tweets from him, as I think we have known him for some time now. We also expect more hearings, and most of them are going to be directed, number one, to the current, the former president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Is also expected to attack their family. Is also expected to attack the other guy is called the political combatant in his side, Raila Amolo Odinga, and also the other people. So he's trying as much as possible, as he was trying to keep them busy. But he'll be trying us, because we have seen his tweets, trying his talk to him, talk to the people of Kenya. He's trying to show how these people maybe that did some lot of evils to him. There's something of question as I make a point of finishing, and then I give it to my friend to talk about. Whom is he going to sue? We have seen, by the time he was being allowed to come back to Kenya, the court was saying he has to be given at least, is it around 7 million, on the damages that he was done to. We can see the one which is elected was the Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i. I don't know if Kibichi has been mentioned also on the same, because they must be the same docket and so on. So we expect that he's going to use the court to fight for him to get justice. And to be honest, the people, most of the people who had a lot of difficulties in accessing justice during the former regime, now they are accessing power easily. Look about Oscar Sudi. He's one of the people boards are the...
I know you're not a lawyer, but let me just ask you. Miguna sued the Kenyan government for deporting him, and be it the president or the CS Fred Matiang'i, whatever capacity that they acted in the capacity of their office, but not as the person of Fred Matiang'i, because the office gave them authority, gave them that authority. So my question is Matiang'i going to be, is he going to sue Matiang'i, or is he going to sue the office?
Let me answer that one very much quickly. I understand a lot of law, because I've been with most of these discussions, especially with the land and friends, which are very close friends of mine. This is how it happens. Let me take a good example of a company. When a company is being sued, the company is sued as a legal entity, and then the directors are sued as respondents. So when the case that is in court even today, the government of Kenya is being sued, and the people who are acting on behalf of that government. You getting my point? So that still will be able to proceed. Are you getting my point? So if the Miguna is going to sue, first he sues government, number two, they sue the people who are respondents, who are in the interior docket that time, and any of the people who might have facilitated to his exile being forced.
Okay.
Number two, their discussions can come through because he has come, because he is also a Kenyan. They can have a discussion for withdrawal of churches, which we understand is common in Kenya. Okay. But he said he cannot withdraw churches until he teaches the people lesson who did harm to him. So that one, I cannot speak much to him, but what I understand, the government is going to be sued. At the same time, the respondents who are the people who facilitated his exile.
No, I think on this issue, we have to say, Miguna has already done the suing. Miguna sued the government of Kenya during the red alerts, for the red alerts. So the government of Kenya was sued for the red alerts, and they have removed the red alerts. So, but as we are speaking also, the government of Kenya, the Interior Cabinet Secretary is still the one in place, Matiang'i, has been sued by Miguna. And Miguna is seeking about 1.7 billion Kenya shillings from him, and him, and Kibicho. And then here in Kenya, Miguna already has a case against Matiang'i, Kibicho, Kihalangwa, and these people, he's going to put them again on a civil case, because they lost already on the case whereby they were supposed to allow Miguna, to facilitate Miguna, and they were found to have contempt of court, disobeying court orders, the three of them. So the court already issued a ruling against them. In fact, it issued that they were supposed to be arrested. So basically, Miguna will use that to come back to them and seek damages from them individually here in Kenya. But he also has a case in Canada already that is ongoing of seeking damages of 1.7 billion in Canada. So Miguna has set himself up very well. And in fact, the other day he was complaining that Matiang'i and Kibicho, they have sent lawyers. So he wonders who has given them the money. Are they using their personal money or the state money? That was the question. But he has sued them personally, and that's a clever thing, because he sues the government of Kenya, then it may take longer time. But if he sues these guys individually, because they took individual responsibility to disobey court orders. The court did not issue government order. It said, Minister, this, do this. Then it said, General Kihalangwa, do this. So you refuse, Miguna has a right to sue you individually. And he has sued them individually already. So yes, I think they will walk through here in courts with Miguna.
And also another question that I'd maybe ask. Miguna is saying that when he comes to Kenya, he wants to, of course he is already here, but he said that he wanted to be the next Luo Kingpin, to fill in the vacuum that is being left by Raila. I don't know whether it's being left really, but let me start with you, Getembe. Do you think that there's a vacuum, if at all Miguna has to fill it? And do you think that Miguna can easily fit in the shoes of Raila Odinga as the Luo Kingpin, from where you sit?
That's a very good question, and I think the beauty about Miguna, he has been in the former Prime Minister's government. Remember, this is the guy who has been a has been an advisor to the office of the Prime Minister, the Southern Raila Odinga. So this is the person who understands Raila Odinga in and out. In most cases, this time even he says that he was the one who was even writing speeches for Raila Odinga and even preparing his swearing in and so on. So he understands the weakness and the strength of Raila Amolo Odinga. So if he understands the strengths and the weakness, you can imagine a person who knows your strength and weakness. What does it mean? So he's able to know where is your weakness. He's able to know where is your strength is. Number two, for him to fill the gap. Number two, we also need to check about the trend. I think I was in Luo Nyanza sometimes back in like 3 months ago, after the not 2 months, I think 1.5 months ago. Once the elections have been finished, people are getting tired of Raila Odinga. He has run for presidency many times and he has failed. You can imagine, I already learned, I think this is the 4th, 5th time, and he has already failed. So they are already starting losing trust in Raila Odinga's his promises. I think even this guy was on social media saying, Baba, don't come to our place and tell us this time you have been stolen. You even go and steal. How dare can you tell us for the last 5, I don't know how many decades that your votes have been stolen? So people are already losing trust. So if Miguna can come in and fill that space and talk to the people of Luo, I can see Jimmy Wanjigo was trying to do the same thing. Have you seen it? Jimmy Wanjigo is also trying to go and fill that space because themselves is now getting tired. If Miguna uses his approach and goes back to the village and talks to the people nicely and tells them, now I'm coming to liberate you here, and they give him the trust, why not? He takes it on the day.
Do you think he has the capital, the political capital, the economic capital, and even the social capital to fill in the shoes of Raila Odinga?
No, I think when you seek to be a Luo Kingpin, first Miguna will have to forget that he can fill in the shoes of Raila Odinga. Those are 2 big shoes to fill. So he'll have to chart his own way.
Yes.
However, you know, if you talk about a kingship and you want to take over being a king, normally when you say a kingship is a hereditary. It goes from father to son to grandson, you know. So if Miguna, if you come from a different family, from that hereditary family that has the kingship blood, then you have to fight for it. You have to fight. No one will give it to you. So Miguna is coming in to fight for this kingship thing. And he's using the government of the day, or the government of the day is using him in this game of cards, whereby we don't know who is holding the poker. But I believe, my strong conviction is it will not just be an inheritance thing. the fight, Miguna will continue fighting, and the day he'll be the only one fighting Raila Odinga, when he's left in the ring with him alone with Raila Odinga, then he continues, and then comes the natural exit. If the natural exit happens, he will become automatic.
Okay.
So for Raila Odinga, I can tell you for sure, even if you talk about the village thing, Raila Odinga didn't go to the village.
Okay.
Raila Odinga came just to Nairobi from abroad and decided to use his father's mileage a little bit, but created a Nairobi constituent. And then he also used the regime of that day, to fight his father. And he fought his father. He even left the party, to seek another party. I always say, it could not have been easy for him to leave the opposition party and fight against the opposition party unless the government party was supporting him in somehow the undertones, and which I believe it did. It supported him to create that fight, and he did, and he split it, and he went and formed a party and went back to do a by-election in a place where it was dominant opposition. But if you are only left with the government supporting you and fighting a dominant opposition, and you are also the opposition leader, you are showing that you are ready to fight the opposition. And he fought it and won it, and from there, he inherited naturally. With the death of his father, he inherited. He was not given. He crushed everyone, Wamalwa, say anyone who was in the line.
Okay.
So I think for Miguna, it's a long walk.
I wish on let me comment on something on a few minutes. The politics of Kenya is changing, my dear friends, and the Kenyans need to understand. The issue of kingpin nowadays is not even working. Luo Central, we have been having where they challenge, where the former president is saying to be the kingship. Did he deliver? No. Look about the Ukambani region. How do you call him? The former vice president, Kalonzo Musyoka. Did he deliver? No. Look about Kisii. We've been talking about Matiang'i being the kingpin of Kisii County, Kisii generally at large. Did he deliver? There's something the president currently... There's something the president is currently teaching and giving to the minds of the people.
Yes.
That is about the track record of somebody running on his own independent way.
Yes.
You don't need to be a kingpin of somewhere to win an election of that area. As he was saying, it will be very difficult for Miguna to fill the gap of Raila. Like to do what Raila has done, to take the tear gas, to go into the streets, to be jailed for I don't know many years, to come back as a freedom fighter for the country. He unless he uses his own strategy, and goes outside and sells his manifesto. So there's something that, and the DP what he's trying to create and finish, and to be honest, in the next few years, we should not be having the issue of the kingpin of Mount Kenya, because the kingpin has been used before to destroy the economics of the country, the politics of the country.
Okay.
So it might not be able to work in time wrong.
Gentlemen, we are short of time, but there's certain issue that I want us to keenly look at before, of course, we end this conversation. And of course, that is about the vetting of the CSS, which is ongoing. There's quite a debate that has been going on, and that is about the academic qualifications. And I want us to look at it. Of course, we also have the net worth. And I'm just on this show, I'm to ask you, what is your net worth? But before that, the question is about the academic qualification of cabinet secretaries. And of course, there is still a lot of controversy on the Aisha Jumwa's degree certificate. But the speaker, who is also the chair of the vetting committee, reiterated and said it very clearly that it was not on a degree that formed the fundamental reason or the basis in which Aisha Jumwa was nominated as a CS. Don't you think that maybe this is a setback to our education system? Because bearing that only just a month ago, also the High Court stated that for you to be a governor, you need not to have a degree certificate. If we have state jobs and of course also other plum positions where you're not supposed to, where the prerequisite is not for you to have a degree, don't you think that maybe academicians and even educators are not inspired when people who are not learned get such positions, and even the constitution or even the law is not clear on this? Is it not?
But
Does it
I
even
I
inspire?
think we are just unfair to our own constitution. Our own constitution does not contemplate politics to be only for the academicians.
Okay.
And that's democracy. That's how it is all over the world. Politics is politics. A villager and a town person will meet in politics platform. And you win, because politics is about the game of masses. Convince the people. Does not have about the education or how better you can speak.
Well,
so what is happening
my
is,
point is
even in
because,
the seat of government,
the time is yes.
the CS, those seats, unfortunately, they are not seats that we have explained in the Constitution as requiring academic qualifications. My only request to us who have gone to school is that we have now to be humble enough to realize that it's not just going to school that matters.
Okay.
It is what you do in school. Because Aisha Juma said, she left school again, went back, and still managed. And the rest of us who went continued the school, we have to ask ourselves, because it's bitter for us that we feel like this should be because we went to school. It is not the case. And I think the issue of vetting, for me, my view, we are wasting time.
Okay.
Why do you vet? It is his government. Let him choose his people.
Okay.
When they fail, we say they failed. Why should we vet and then participate in his government and say that it is it is Parliament who allowed them to fail? So it is his government. Let him choose his people. We should not waste time with vetting exercise, which is just a
Mr.
PE
Gatembe, you went to school. I was with you in school, and I saw you graduate.
But point of record, I was in school, by the way. Yeah? I went to school.
of
I have a degree and I'm on my way for my master's.
I saw him
I'm
graduate.
almost graduating.
I saw him graduate. So, Mr. Gatembe,
Yes.
of course, I saw you graduate. So, my question is, do you actually think that for those who have taken the toil of going to school, attaining a degree, degrees or masters, as he's pursuing, taking the toil, maybe doing all those things, and like a position like a CS, where people believe that they need also brains, just don't bring your political capital there because you have a certain constituent back in maybe Kwale or back home. You at least also need the know-how, the knowledge and the skills maybe that you acquire from education. Do you think it is fair for these people who have acquired academic, maybe have gotten maybe degrees or certificates? Do you think it's fair to them when such plum jobs, state jobs are given to those who did not attend school or do not have degrees? Is it even inspiring?
I'm trying to understand the point you are saying that they did not attend school. I don't know, maybe which level you are trying to say to it. But I get your point, Okay. Now, this is what I'm trying to put across and try to understand.
Yes.
Because, yes, we have the academician side, which are studying. Myself, I'm an academician, and I'm still aspiring to go very high levels of education. Of course, even to the point up to the heading to the highest level of education. To be honest, we have seen the academic qualifications of the CSS currently that is on progress. We have some who have done good, like Professor Giture Kidiki, he's already a professor. We have a lot of people who have done degrees, masters also there. And the question of the Aisha Juma factor coming in, where he says that he represents the hustlers who don't need to have a degree, but can be able to deliver in the time. It sometimes, as my colleague was saying, feels very much odd when we say the political highest offices should be given to the people of academia. What about the middle people? The same people who are here, who are being fight because they're not having school fees, they have no food, they have nowhere to go. They are lacking these basic needs for them to become to the highest level. So we also need to give them a chance. Because the academicians, most of them, if you try to look, you can get at most of them, they have got this qualification. They might even be having good work at the same time from the well-known families. You can count the even number of doctors, as you know, from your places. You know, this is told the son of who, the son of who, and the son of who. What about the hustler here? This person, the common person here. We also, because I have examples of people who have, let me be honest with my friend and my colleague Mike Sonko. I was with him sometimes in Mombasa, some few before elections, and we had some conversation. So this is the point of career. He at some point, we understand he had not maybe got to the highest level of degree and so on, but he delivered in doing some things. I know he might have failed in 1 to 3, of course, which you understand no one person is perfect, but at some point they deliver. So we need to mix these chances of the two people. Let us have the academia side, and let's have also people who are knowledgeable on ideas. The time William Samoei Ruto was the Minister for Agriculture, he was not a doctor, but he delivered excellent in the Ministry of Agriculture. And if he does well, I was trying to look about what he implemented during when he was a Minister for Agriculture. The same current CS Munya, before his exit, they have been using those records that he instituted. So what does it mean? So academia and the time of academia, and this is the time of people with knowledge and the wisdom and understanding, they should be mixed together. So the academia field, they fill some spaces. And also this is the ordinary people who cannot access this academia, but they have the wisdom, they have the knowledge to deliver, they be given some pointers to go and debate with these people and give us the results of delivery.
Okay.
But even the highest office in the
Land of presidents. If we want to say, okay, the one with the highest academic paper become, then we were not supposed to go for election. William Ruto was just supposed to be declared at the point of presenting his papers. Because he's the only one who had a PhD there. So I think when it comes to political positions, there are very few, by the way. Do you know political positions? CSS, 20.
21.
Governors, 47. President, deputy president. You put them together, less than 100. Then the rest of all academicians, then if we say academics is the one to qualify you there, then only professors will be there. Before you go to doctors, before the likes of me, the
When you
masters.
talk about the academicians is a degree. I believe you're also academician.
Yes, but they are still in the academic line. I am a toddler.
Okay.
I meet professors who tell me that I know nothing.
Okay.
Even with my small masters.
I get your point, and there's something that actually you alluded to, and that is about maybe like you talked about the hoi polloi. You talked about the normal people, those people who are hustlers. Exactly, that is the term you used, and you thought that they also should be given a chance. And I actually, during the CSS position vetting, there's also the issue of the net worth of the hustlers, where we had the CSS, some going to billions, 4 billion, some are worth 4 billions, some going to even millions. Some were 100 of millions, 80 millions, 420, some are 500 millions. And I want to know maybe what you think about this, about the CSS declaring the wealth. Is this even important? Is it, how will we know that this CS is lying?
Exactly. Let me be honest and say once again, we're still lacking behind. You just ask somebody today, how much is your net worth? Somebody says, I'm 400 million. Justify to me. Says, I have few apartments in Nairobi, few apartments in Narok, and my land in a village. My house in Karen is 120 million.
Who has valued it?
Yes, my other one in Nakuru is 70 million, and my other in the village is 60 million. Total general together 400 million. We still have that lack of policy. I was trying to look at that one. It's like drama in parliament. Like, to be honest, as he was saying, this is the people's his government has chosen. I was just checking the bill these people are getting. The speaker is getting around 360,000. The deputy speaker is getting around 210 for sitting allowances, doing this vetting. You are not, we already have your documents. You have given to us before. We already know. So you cannot come and tell us to this national television and tell us, I'm worth this one. How are we able to show are we lying? The lifestyle audit started. Where did it go? We could have said the government should give, actually our constitution, should give the clear frames on how to do the audit. Like it need to be known. Is this land in Nakuru? Is it really yours? How much is it worth? So just not coming out, just telling that I'm worth 100 million, out to 20 million, is just a wastage of time, wastage of government resources, which can be used to do other things.
Mr. Gatembe, how are they?
Maybe we talk behind the camera because I'm not able to authenticate for now.
And to be honest, yes, I think the most important question will not be how worth are you. Would be,
what is the net worth?
No, will be, have you declared your tax returns? Exactly. That will be the best. That is what is being asked in America. Your tax records. That's what you should deliver in a panel. Why? Because this shows you are participating in building of the economy.
Okay.
Let us not question your net worth. Let us see your papers.
Yes.
Because when we see your tax records, you'll be forced to go to KRA. And
Get
not
clearance.
just, and show us that really you are a tax payer. That way you will catch them.
Because all the
But
assets-
this drama of how
Showbiz,
much,
that's
how much,
showbiz.
this is showbiz. And I had some money. I'm surprised. People have billions.
Yeah.
People are worth billions. My friend, what are we
And we're
doing?
still giving them
Where are we?
And we are still giving them more billions.
More
We are
billions.
still giving them more billions and job. We
Someone-
have people
Hustlers.
who have no
No,
job.
I think the point is, as I was saying, this is an exercise in futility.
Okay.
Whether he says he has 1 shilling, he has 10 billion, he has 1 trillion, we will still
Because
approve
we
it.
cannot prove it.
We
Actually.
cannot prove it, and then it is not a requirement. It is just a story to entice newspaper and Kenyans. So maybe the best thing will be, let us just finish fast, allow these guys to start working.
Does it think that us having leaders who are who are worth billions inspire the common
No,
man
how do they acquire the, let them show us, how do they acquire their
What
properties?
inspires should not be
How
that
do
you are
they-
rich. I think what inspires people
Is the story
should
behind
be
now.
the story
Yes.
behind.
Oh.
And even that should be the,
Yes.
the way the president himself has been leading from, has not been like he's saying that he's very rich. It has always been the story that I have gone through this
Yes.
and I'm now this. So sometimes it should not be that what you have, it inspires us. It does not inspire us. When you just tell me you have 4 billion, I don't know 4 billion. I don't know.
Okay.
How do you know how to count 4 billion? I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
So, if you start telling us, like Aisha Juma, I had to drop out of school and got married early so that we come from a family of I don't know how many children, and then I had to come back again. And you come from that struggle, and you are here, then I see something, I get inspired, I feel like I need to fight.
Okay.
But when you just tell me you have 4 billion,
How now?
so
How
now
was
what
it achieved?
is 4 billion?
How was it achieved?
I don't know.
Who verifies the 4 billion? Where did you get it?
But
in 33
our-
years of working in
No, our members of parliament need to be serious with our time
Okay.
also. Because that was a joke.
And there's
we
no
are doing.
salary which can accumulate it to
And,
4
and-
billion.
and actually, but that leads to my next question, which is about the vetting of members of cabinet secretaries, of course, the nominees. Of course, as it's going, what do you make of the processions? Like, is there anything peculiar in this vetting, or like most of them, it's just mere formality?
Formality.
I repeat, it's a waste of public time and resources.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there's nothing happening there. We know they will pass them.
Of course, all of them.
The person who appointed them is not a mad person, surely. There was a time that the other government even appointed a class 7 dropout.
Yes,
What did we do? What did we do about it? Nothing. The point is, let the president elect his government.
Okay.
When they fail, we put them to checks.
Yes.
You have failed because you have failed. We don't care because of your papers. You have not failed because of your papers. You failed because you have failed. If it's integrity, you have failed because of your integrity. So it's surely a waste of time.
Okay.
Waste of time.
Getembe,
Yes.
what do you think about it?
The same thing, I still maintains my position. This is just a showbiz. This is wastage of time, and there is a wastage of resources, as I've said, because there's no one is going to fail from there. And also you see even some questions. I was reading a newspaper where they're saying the questions are being asked by these people is like they already know what you're being asked for. Number 2, they're just asking for formalities. We Kenyans are not foolish. We know. Who doesn't know that Kithure Kindiki is going to become the CS of Interior? Who doesn't know? Unless he is waking up from somewhere else. I want to teach him today and tell him, excuse me, dear Kenyans, Kithure Kindiki is becoming a CS Interior. Because it's automatic. So they are already actually wasting time, which there will be national government debating national issues about lack of food
We should be fighting drought. Stop telling
and
us.
disaster.
Billions.
Not just sitting in parliament and taking tea and asking my friend, how much are you net worth today?
No, but the members of parliament are taking
They're
us
already
for a ride.
failing us. I even see the majority leader is my good friend Kimani Ichung'wah, and I know might get this information later on, but I know we discuss outside there. It is very true, and it's to be very honest, that we are really wasting time, because unless they can come and prove to us whatever they are doing there is just for the common good. I know they are trying to avoid the issue of saying that they did not pass because of the constitution, because the constitution says they have to be nominated, They have to be vetted in parliament and taken for press for appointing. Because just to avoid somebody going to court and say these people are done what? They are not vetted. But they need, as the time's coming by later on, let the president appoint these people, let them go there. If they want to be vetted, let them come with their policies, let them come with the formalities, tell us all this way, it has been achieved this way. At the end of the day, we can have a congruous judgment and say this vetting was good for all the Kenyans.
Okay. Interesting. It has been quite a great conversation with you guys, and of course we are coming to the end of this conversation. And maybe during this Mashujaa, I'll give you time maybe to tell us about generally what you think maybe the next and subsequent Mashujaas or even the next celebrations. What do we expect of the government? I'll start with you, sir.
Is it the final marks or
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is I'm really hoping the next coming Mashujaa Day, we need to have some new reforms. As we have said, we don't want to hear a lot of stories. We don't want to hear a lot of, speeches. We want to hear, because it's called an utamaduni. Oh, so you were asking about the Mashujaa Day that is coming, eh?
Yes.
What we're expecting on Mashujaa Day?
Yes, generally.
Of course, we're expecting a lot of things. We're expecting many things to unfold.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, as I still insist, the Kenyan common mwananchi needs to be put first, please. Don't read to us a lot of speeches.
Okay.
Don't give us a lot of hopes. And there was somebody who was telling one thing. Don't give me too much hope that you can be able to deliver. Just tell me something small. And even I'm looking forward at the time when the president not be reading for us, I don't know, 3 to 14 pages. I was going to newspaper, I think going around to 21 pages. Just tell us something very simple, and then release the press to others who has to read on newspapers and to read on the TV. But take simple few times to recognize, especially the heroes that we have in Kenya. And what we have done, what we have achieved, and even the time used it to promote the culture of the people. We have the Maasai culture. They have of what the product they are selling. We have the Kikuyu people. They have a lot of people they are selling. We have the kids and so on. Let us use that day to promote the culture of the people and also to promote the lifestyle of the people and the common man.
Sir?
No, public national holidays should remain what they should be.
Okay.
If it's Mashujaa Day, let us use it to celebrate the heroes of yesterday, to teach our children the history of the country, and let us also use it to celebrate the heroes of today and also promote heroes of tomorrow and encourage heroes of tomorrow. If it is Madaraka Independence Day, Madaraka Day, let us celebrate the independence of this country. Let us celebrate the independence we are enjoying. Let us appreciate the freedoms from the Constitution. If it is Utamaduni Day, let us celebrate our cultures. If it is Service Day, let us do service. Let us celebrate days according to what they mean.
Okay.
If it comes to governments speaking about their policies, let them be done in the State of the Nation address, where we will be looking at them, questioning 1 year after a year, questioning their achievements. But when we have celebrations, 10 celebrations in a year, and you, in 10 celebrations you want to build 100 drums in 10 celebrations, you will not. And we'll be now making it so exhaustive. If it is military parade, do it in a military day. Do a military parade. Show us in TV. Let us see the planes in TVs. But for the hustlers in Mathare, if it is Mashujaa Day, bring us a concert in Mathare. Let us enjoy the day. Let us, Yes.
There's also a question from a certain man, Chola. And Chola is asking that a question on what we had actually talked about earlier. The Miguna saga shows that the court orders are not way important, but those in powers. What does this show about our independent? What does this show actually about our independent institution? Like, who is more important? What is more important? Is it the law and the court, the judicial system, or those in power?
No, basically
his statement is very right. That in practice, in practical terms, or speaking in practical terms, is that what happened in the Miguna saga shows that the law was treated not as the main thing, but rather the executors of the law. And therefore, we need to work hard to move at a place at a time when the law will be the principal tool, will be power in itself. The law should be power in itself.
Mr. Getembe, What do you think generally about that?
Generally, I can say is that Miguna, I know most of the people. They are saying that, but I think in most cases, the court orders have been disowned. Some people disown them. Some people, they don't want to be associated with them. But we need to be understood that every Kenyan citizen needs to obey the court orders. I think there was something that was coming yesterday in Parliament.
Yes.
Kiture Kidiki, who is the nominee to become the CS Interior, was asked this question. But I remember one of the panelists was asking him. We understand the former regime, especially in the interior, they rejected to obey the court orders. You becoming the CS Interior, are you going to disobey the court orders? And we heard him say that he's going to obey the court orders to the last. Number two, the president has also been advocating for the independence of judiciary. So we are really hoping, and the judiciary, they do their part. The executive, they do their part. A legislature, they do their own part. So this is to make sure there is a lot of independency and also obeying the court orders. Actually, it's not going to be a debate. We are really hoping every person, every department, either to be the government ministry or not the government ministry, to obey the court orders to the last point.
Okay, there is a question that if his deportation was illegal, should those who deported him be sued? If yes, then what next for Ruto, since he was actively involved in the process of deportation?
It was illegal. Deportation was already, it's a matter that was concluded by the court. On who to be sued, it is upon Miguna to choose whom to sue.
Yes.
And he will sue. On whether William Ruto was actively involved, I don't know what active means, because those who are actively involved was General Kialangwa, was Interior CS, Interior PS Kibicho, Interior CS Matiangi. But anyway, it depends with his definition of active. If in their reading, because William Ruto has beaten them in their own game. They speak human rights, he does human rights. So I think it's a time as mere orphans we move from the hangover. Because he will do what we didn't want him to do. And we should celebrate what he has done. If he does, Raila was with Uhuru, they didn't do it. But now Ruto is doing it. Let us celebrate. Because even if your enemy gives you food, celebrate.
Okay.
If your friend gives you poison, run away.
Okay. Quite interesting. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for this quite a great conversation. Mr. Getembe, maybe if you can give us your last remarks even as we come to the end of the show.
I want to thank the Kenyans at large who are listening and listening to us today discussing this discussion. We really appreciate them so much, and we are really hoping. My still sentiments each and every time is just to tighten the belts, because the economy is not going to be easy anymore. So we need to tighten our belts. Let us live according to our own means. Let us change our lifestyle. And more so, let us pray God. We all of us need to be, because we are believers of God. Let us pray and pray for our leaders. We are praying for our president, the deputy president, and even for the cabinet that is coming in. And actually, from myself and from my point of sitting, I'm really wishing them all the best. And I'm looking forward from the time our economy and our, because I'm talking from the economy side, is going to grow, and even the people from the East Africa and beyond, they'll be coming to check of what Kenya is doing, because I know we are capable. And I want, because we have seen our leaders having a track record before. And I'm really hoping, we are trying to give them time, at least 5 years from now. Let us see what His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto is going to give us and his regime giving to us. So thank you very much, and I want to wish the able Kenyans a very lovely night, and as we continue to hold our tights strong, because the economy is not going to forgive us anytime soon.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Getembe. Mr. Mangeni, maybe your last remarks even as we come to the end of the show.
My last remarks will be to encourage Kenyans to be resilient, hopeful. Let us do actions of hope. Let us speak hope. Let us inspire hope to many other people. It's a very difficult time, true. But we, on our individual capacities, let us be part of the solution. And let us call government to order. Anytime they want to go astray, let us call them to order. Let us call our politicians to order that they need to provide service. But I call this government, and I wish to let them know in this national TV, human rights, let it be #1. Let us not negotiate about human rights for all Kenyans. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Good
so
night.
much. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for once again, of course, accepting my invite to the Insight, where we, of course, have enlightened the citizens of the Insight much more. It was indeed a great night as we discussed the Mashujaa tonight, and of course, we are grateful for joining this live broadcast from Good News Broadcasting System here, live, of course, in Nairobi. And as we continue to educate and enlighten you and elucidate on issues that affect you one-on-one through the eyes of various stakeholders, we are grateful that you could get a chance to join us tonight. While on behalf of everyone who has made this a success, we're very grateful, and of course, let's meet next Friday. My name is Eugene Ochieng Kwach.